Welcome to a training video that shows a new feature that we've just built into the load sheets. And the end result is that depending on the surface setup that is selected, so in this case it's indoor, will make the system add new items to your load sheet. So in this case, because it's indoor, it's going to say load 4 sandbags. And had that said grass, for example, it could have said 4 stakes or any number of things. And in this case, we also set it up so that it would add a 1 horsepower blower to this. So this is an easy way to add other items to your load sheet automatically based on surface type when surface type affects what you load. So let's go back into the system and show you how that gets set up. Okay, to get started, you're going to start in the old inventory area. So if you're new to the system, you're probably used to going to System Setup and then number 7, Inventory. But we're going to go in to an old area that we generally tell people to stay out of. But we're going to go in there now. It's View Edit Inventory. And you can set this same thing up for packages as well. But in this video, I'm just going to cover inventory. The same thing applies in either place. So we're going to go to Inventory. And to get your inventory into an alphabetical order by category, I can click on Category, and it puts everything in there. That's true on the header of any of these forms that look like this. So let's go down to Deluxe Bounce House, where we have a Tweety Bird here, and I'll give it a shot. So here you can see we have sandbags set up ×4 for concrete, and then all other surfaces are set up with stakes. Now you can specify in 3 different ways. You can use the actual surface setup name, which I'll show you real quick. It's back in Advanced Options, Surface Options, and that's the list. And you can make that list whatever you want. You can delete them by clicking here or add new, and you can just add a new name. As many as you want. So you do need to know what is on your list. So then you go into this View Edit Inventory, and let me go back to the Tweety Bird real quick. So in this case, I know that concrete is one of our options. One of the other options would be grass or dirt or indoor. So you do need to have that list in front of you. So you can specify what those surfaces are. I could sit here and write grass and write dirt, but to save some time, we made this function called other, and other means everything else. The other option is if this was something like a concession machine where setup surface really doesn't affect it, so you want the same thing on every time that equipment goes out, you would use a command called all. So those are the 3 options. It's either you specify the surface name, you say other, which means everything else, or if you're not going to use those because it's something that always uses the same thing no matter what the surface setup type is. So for example, let's say that on a carnival game you always bring sandbags no matter what to hold it in place. But you also want an electric cord. So in a case like that, we wouldn't have these here. We would just use all. So we're pretending that this is some sort of a carnival game now, not a inflatable. And we would say something like sandbags. You have to use a space, then an X, then a space, and then the quantity. So let's say we want 2 sandbags. And if you want multiple things in that list, you just add a comma and add some more. So we could say extension cord space times 1. And that means that every time that is rented, that does not show up to the customer. It will not show up on invoices. It just shows up on that load sheet for the routing. So that's going to show up in your routing sheet with the word load. And then at the bottom, if you have a bunch of units that have stakes or sandbags, it'll give you a grand total now. So if you want to have your guys look and it says bring 40 stakes, they can put 40 stakes into the truck all in one trip, and then they just know that they have it for all the individual orders. So that's how you do that. The spacing is critical, otherwise you will get some strange results, so make sure you got one space in between the X on each side. And that's it. Enjoy the new feature.